Name's Angel Marie Monticelli, Reiki Master teacher. What to expect in a Reiki session? Well, first of all, let's start with, before you come, you should really be hydrated. Maybe have something in your stomach so you don't have an empty stomach. Have clothes that are comfortable for you. And then also make sure that you have enough time to get to where you're going. And then also on the way home that you're relaxed on your way there and back. The other thing is when you come in, we will sit and we'll talk for a little while, just so you can connect to the energy, probably talk to you about how to do your breathing, that diaphragmatic breath, because that will help you in the session, moving your energy. And for you to understand what's going to happen specifically in the Reiki session, where am I going to be putting my hands, what's going to happen, to have that dialogue so that you can be more at ease about what's happening. Like, for example, I'm going to tell you that the first position is over your eyes. The second is here. And where I'm going to be. And then also creating the space in this environment helps you to relax into that. So what you're going to be doing is laying down on a massage bed, fully clothed, and you're also going to be doing the breaths, and I'll be helping you to do those breaths, and that way you'll be more relaxed as you're sitting there. And then the practitioner, I will put my hands lightly, very lightly, either over and hover or lightly on the different spots. Like I said, like here's the first, the second, here's another, and then over. And basically I'm going to be taking those hands and that energy with a very light touch, or maybe not even touching. And I teach my students, and I practice holding space. Now what does that mean? It means holding space in the room, because I don't want them to move energy, push energy, take my energy. No. I don't want your energy. You don't want my energy. It's just being in a place to hold that space. And yes, be holding that in a vibrational field, in a state, in a current that is all about the love, the light, the beauty. And because what happens is, as you fill the room with these positive energy, and actually, yes, like becomes like, and your vibrational field starts to shift into that. And remember, just a reminder, the practitioner should not be throwing anything into you, pulling anything, pushing. They should be very neutral. They're just a conduit to hold that space for you, with all that compassion, love, joy, and that peace that comes in, that gratitude, holding space. And a lot of times people will come back to me and they'll say, I went to a Reiki session. I felt so heavy, and that afterwards I just didn't feel right. That's because that practitioner might have been saying, oh, you have a bad back? And it's not like that. It is just holding that space. So holding that positivity, that energy, it helps you in helping you to do the breathing. You'll have the changes like you wouldn't even believe, the changes that can happen within your life because of it. So here's some of the things that can happen in a Reiki session physically. Physically, you could start yawning, which is a release. You could start coughing, release. I find that when I'm going over and I'll be doing and removing and connecting and helping you to remove energies and unwanted, maybe in the throat, the person starts to cough. And they always ask, and it's like, yes, that is very common. Also, there could be like a twitch. Like all of a sudden you might be feeling like your hand is twitching like this. And I've had reports that go, my hand was moving like this. Didn't you see it? And it's like, no. But what it is, it's energy starting to flow through. So their legs will start to twitch or something, and they'll start to shake. That's vibration, that's energy, because you're actually coming to a place where you're soothing. Sometimes you may even feel emotional and want to cry. The other thing too is you could feel like you want to just start laughing. And I've had one client that came in, well, actually there's been 2 or 3, and all over these 20 years, that just laughed through the whole thing. And they said that it completely changed their whole mindset. It completely changed because in that releasing, and that was their way, they weren't crying, they were laughing. What happened was they released that trauma. And that can come in different ways. So because emotions are energy, and it gets stuck sometimes, and by releasing them, that what happens is we're not really releasing. So I need to be clear on this. It's not really releasing, it's changing the form of the energy. And you're doing that as the client. You're doing that. I'm just holding that space, being that conduit. And what's happening is you may even feel like you are shaking all over, or you're wanting to cry, you're wanting to even scream. I've had people scream, and it's like, go for it. It does not disturb the Reiki. Many people will call and say, Angel, I'm in this cough, and I have this cough, and I don't want to come in. It's like, we'll sit you up. You don't have to lay down all the time. And you can experience your energy and that compassion, love, so that you can help to heal. And sometimes it's the first one, and they're like, holy moly, this was cool. Or it could take a couple of times, because it's really you and how you're feeling and how you're connecting. And a lot of them will say, oh my gosh, I felt like it was like 10 minutes, and oh my gosh, now it's like it was an hour, because they're feeling this energy. It's just like this gentleman, he was a millennial. He came to see me when I owned Lightworkers Gifts, when I had my center, and his parents actually called me, and they said, we've tried everything, all the doctors, and he just is really having a hard time because he broke his foot and he can't play football in high school. And we want to bring him to you, Angel, because we know you, and maybe you can do something energetically. So I said, great, bring him in. He's a millennial. He was a non-believer. And after just one session of talking with him, and him saying, I don't know who I am because I can't play football. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to do anything. I feel lost, and I don't know who I am, and I'm having a hard time. And us chatting and then saying, this is what we're going to do, and explaining to him. And in that session, he started crying. And he started crying, and then halfway through, it was remarkable. It was like he just put this smile on his face, and it was there, and his whole vibration changed. I could feel that, but his whole vibration changed. And afterwards, he reported to me, when he was done, he said, wow, I just feel so much better. I feel like it's going to be okay. And there's so much more to that story. And yet, he went home that day. His parents called me the next day in the midday and said he went to school. He's got a better attitude. He's actually doing some of the things to take care of himself. He's drinking more water. Everything you talk to him about, he's ready to go. Fast forward 15 years later, you still stay in contact with him. And he still says, thank you. You changed my life, and I understand what Reiki's about, but I understand my energy and how to flow it. One session. And of course, more now. He is actually level 1 Reiki. Actually, I think he's level 2 now. So understanding that many things can happen during a session where you can release emotional trauma. You can help with chronic pain, and you can feel all of a sudden and this is what happened to another gentleman that wanted to be a hairdresser. And what happened was, good friend, very good friend of mine, and he calls me up. Let's call him Greg. And Greg calls and says, Angel, I know you're doing that Reiki stuff. I don't really understand it, but I would like to come in because I've gone to all the doctors, and I still have this skin rash just on my face, and they don't know what it is. I'd like to come in and see what you can do. And then I'd say, okay, let's make an appointment. And then he'd cancel it. And then we make another. And he wasn't ready. And then finally, he came in. And it was amazing what happened. just like with the other gentleman, he was crying through the whole thing, the emotional traumas. And afterwards he said he experienced such high emotions that it was so wonderful that it helped him. And I said, great. A day later, he calls me. And he's crying again, but he's saying, Angel, I don't have the rash. The rash is gone. How can it be gone in a day after all of the medications, everything that I've gone through? In one day, I feel so much better. That's a blessing. That was huge to hear that. And for him to be able to now, fast forward 10 years later, 13 years later, he is a hairdresser and he still is in my life saying thank you because you changed my perception about life. So those are things that can happen because emotions get blocked. And when that energy field gets blocked, Reiki, energy, vibration moving, that's quantum physics. Moving energy. I'm not moving energy. No. I'm holding the space. You, as the client, you're the one that's moving it, and you're not even thinking about it. By you being more relaxed, that's what's so important. And just a reminder that we're not putting anything on you. A practitioner should not be pushing their energy, pulling energy. They're just holding space, and this is a beautiful practice. And this is why I love Reiki so much, because it will help you to sleep better. It will help you to be able to connect more into your intuitive, your psychic, because you can have all of a sudden your third eye will open. And I've had people report, Angel, all of a sudden I saw this flash in my eyes. And I was thinking you opened the window or something, or the blinds. But wow, it's like everything is clearer. Everything looks different. But yet I could see my inner eye. I took this amazing journey. Like I saw that I was a child. I've heard that one before. I saw that I see these colors and waves. And I could feel these colors throughout my body. It's a sensation. So that's certain things that can happen. And that can happen in a Reiki session. And a lot of times I hear too after, wow, I've never felt so safe, so secure, so protected. And now I see things sharper and I understand. Just warms my heart. And every time I do a Reiki session, it's different. Because every time you come in, and many will come in every week, every other week, once a month, because it's a priority to them to be able to really adapt and connect to their gifts. So they want to come in and have that experience. And it's really your experience in that Reiki session that can help you. You know, and my students will say to me, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. They say it this way is, hey, you just got Reikified. I always laugh at that. But it's true. You get Reikified, which you bring your energy up. So those are the things that can happen in a Reiki session and so many more. And I always remind my students to do what? Always align your head set to your heart set to your gut set so that you are flowing in oneness, because it will help you to ignite your energy, your joy, and your abundance in your life. Thank you, Lightworker, for watching. I see you.